All right. Hello and good evening. It's the second episode of Wine Antics Live. I'm Jen from Wine Antics. I am a heap of Wine Antics on a pretty normal basis. Tonight we have our very special guest reappearing with Stub and I live is Chef Dennis. He is going to do a little wine and food pairing with us. But first, before we go into his introduction, I just want to talk about 2 seconds about what I'm drinking because we're really bad at that. We're really bad at introducing what we're drinking as well. So, this is actually what I cooked with today. It's actually a blend of Chardonnay, Viognier, and Vidal, and this is from our friends at the Urban Winery up in Silver Springs, Maryland. So I'm
Ooh,
drinking Maryland and drinking local.
nice.
So please, Chef Dennis, introduce
Yes.
yourself and let
Well,
us
yeah.
know
What I'm drinking.
if you're drinking anything. Please
I
let us
am
know.
actually. I'm drinking a very uh, nice little rosé here. It's nothing too important. Just a house California red rosé, but it's flavorful. It's refreshing. It's summertime, so it's we always like drinking rosé in the early summer. So.
Absolutely.
And right now I'm in Ocean City, New Jersey, and we're in a rental property on about in the middle of the city, and it is hot, hot, hot today.
Everywhere up and down the East Coast is
Uh,
miserable.
yeah.
Indeed.
And did you say your website? Did you talk about?
Oh, I am AskChefDennis.com, and I'm Ask Chef Dennis on just about every social media. So if you're searching for recipes or just want to talk to me on social, Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, look for Ask Chef Dennis.
Great. And last we have like not last but not least, we have
Sure.
our we have our
Last in
resident.
last in the intro, first in your hearts,
Yes,
right?
absolutely. We
There we
have
go.
our resident lifestyle expert, Stub.
Indeed. Yes, I like to say wine and lifestyle expert. I don't want to take it too far. Yeah, I'm Stubb from corkenvy.com. For those who don't know, those watching know, but the replay you won't. Tonight I am drinking a Peyton Albarino
Ooh.
because I thought it would pair well with what we're going to discuss food pairing wise tonight, I believe. So there we go. And I am also in a hotel in Roanoke, Virginia, though. I have no water to either side of me
Oh,
for miles and miles.
As
And the water I have is rivers, not ocean.
there you go.
everybody else is on location but me.
Yes.
I'm at home. But that's
Well,
okay.
I wish I was home. I like my home, so I miss Florida and its heat because this Ocean City and its heat's not doing anything for me. So
And if you guys who are joining us on YouTube Live, thank you so much. And everybody here that's in Huzzah, just want to kind of let you know if you want to come and join the conversation, I mean, come on air and have a chat with Chef Dennis, Stubb, or myself at any time. Come on over to huzzah.io /wine antics and join the conversation that way. Otherwise, YouTube works well too. So
Nice.
for today, we're doing the food and wine pairing, and we've already prepared our meals, and in my case, already kind of eaten some of my meal. A shrimp scampi because it's light, it's pasta, it's refreshing, it's macaroni day, by the
yeah,
way. Who knew that was a holiday? But I found out that today on Twitter. So pasta goes right very well. Even though I've seen shrimp scampi cooked with like couscous and rice and other
hmm
types of grains and starches, which I thought was kind of interesting. And we were gonna pair it with some wines and then share what we cooked, what we've cooked in the past, or anything like that. Yeah, I actually cooked. So I don't know about you guys, but I cooked. So proud of myself.
very good. But scampi is really when you talk about shrimp scampi, is kind of redundant because in Italian, scampi means shrimp. So basically, you're saying shrimp, shrimp.
I know, yeah.
But when we talk about scampi, there's so many different kinds of scampi recipes, and there's a lemon scampi, there's a tomato-based scampi. There can just be like a garlic aioli scampi. So it's because it's basically just shrimp. Anything else you pretty much want to put into it in a light kind of a sauce. works. So, you can make your own kind of scampi any way you want to do it. And I've made a bunch of different ones in the past. I like beefing my scampis up sometime with artichokes and mushrooms. My wife loves artichokes, and so she likes that. And anytime you're adding some other ingredients or some volume into the dish, you're stretching it because shrimp are expensive.
Yeah.
So by adding some other, like, mushrooms are great fillers. They really don't taste like a lot of anything, and they soak up the flavors of everything else. So it adds more body to it. The artichoke kind of gives it a little bit of mystery. Sometimes I'll put capers in. Make a very light, like a lemon scampi with the capers. And you just want to balance the spices and balance the flavors. And like you said, you serve it over pasta. You serve it over rice. You can serve it over couscous, almost any grain. You could serve it over zucchini noodles. You could really.
What are they, zoodles?
Yeah, zoodles. you know so anything you want to do, or you could make scampi on skewers, grill them, and then top the sauce over top of them. So I mean, it's really kind of an inventive dish you can get creative with in a lot of different ways. In fact, I have a picture of a shrimp scampi dip that was really, really good. That was
Sounds
really
decadent.
good. Yeah.
Because the basic ingredients of
Nice.
shrimp scampi, because that's what I did. I went to the basics and then
Mhm.
doctored it up a little bit. So basic ingredients is like butter, garlic,
Mhm. Yep.
shrimp, and white wine.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, there you go.
that's the base of it, and that's kind of what I took, and then just threw literally the kitchen sink in my dish.
Yeah. It gets back to, what do you have on hand, and what do you like to eat? People think that they have to follow a recipe verbatim, and you really don't. You can get as creative as you want, and a lot of times it'll be, well, what do I have? Well, I don't have this. Well, I can put this in it instead. So maybe it's not really a classical scampi, but it's a delicious shrimp dish. So, we're still having fun eating and making something out of what we have on hand.
Well, you have.
So, Chef, the interesting thing with that, I think, is you talk about just kind of throwing whatever you have in there, and that's great. I've done some broccoli in mine before. I think the key, though, is understanding. Can you give us a general idea of, if you're going to throw in some other ingredients, so like mushrooms or artichokes, as you mentioned? At what point do you throw those in so the flavors are balanced and everything cooks kind of evenly?
Right. Well,
with that, can you
I'm
give a
glad you
general
said
idea?
it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because shrimp are, you're paying a lot of money for shrimp. And while we're talking about shrimp, let's talk about where you get quality, what kind of shrimp you buy. Because a lot of people, they go to the supermarket and they see shrimp on sale, but what they don't understand is these are farm shrimp from, like,
Right.
India, from Asia, from waters that we do not want to eat fish from. So when you're looking for shrimp, when at all possible, you're looking for Gulf shrimp. The big catchphrase now is caught, wild caught. Well,
Right.
if you look closely on the package, wild caught still might be in Pakistan. Well, I don't necessarily want to eat those shrimp. So I'm looking for wild caught from the Gulf. I'm looking for wild caught from the Pacific, from Australia, from, different waters that I know I can trust. So that's one thing to look at. And believe it or not, you can find those a lot of times in big box stores. That's where when I can't get to a restaurant supply place, I go to Sam's or Costco or places like that, and they sell wild caught USA shrimp.
No, I'm sorry,
Right.
Chris. Wild caught in Iowa.
Yeah, that would be farmed, though. That's not exactly what we want. Maybe some trout, but not shrimp.
That's a hell of a fisherman getting wild caught shrimp in Iowa.
Yeah, he's casting a far line.
That is white whale territory right there.
But so anyway, so getting back to cooking them, since we're paying so much money for shrimp and they're delicate, a lot of times what I will do is I'll start the pan with my garlic and with my oil or butter, and I put the shrimp in, and I'll cook them till they are maybe halfway done. I pull them out of the pan, and then I start putting my other ingredients in. If you really are good at what you're doing, you can time it so you don't have to take them out. But for most people, I would say err on the side of taking them out. Get a little plate, pull the shrimp out, put them on the side, and then cook your mushrooms, cook your spinach, cook your broccoli, cook whatever else you want to put into it. And then when everything else is almost cooked, and then you deglaze that pan with a little white wine, and the deglazing picks up all the flavors out of the pan, and it helps bring the sauce together. Then you can put the shrimp back in, throw a hunk of butter in there to tighten it up a little bit, and then serve it. So, I mean, but you want to pull them out and let them sit on the side so they don't overcook, because rubbery shrimp are like not a good thing.
Ugh, they're the worst. So on that, chef, you mentioned like your oil or butter at first. If when you first start cooking, you're using primarily oil, I'm guessing, instead of butter.
I do. I start with
Okay.
oil and I finish with butter.
Right.
You
And
want to
that's
taste.
so the butter doesn't burn. Am I right?
Well, the butter doesn't burn, and again, it's yeah. It basically that's pretty much it, because the butter doesn't burn. But I don't want to waste the butter
Right.
in the beginning, because even if I don't burn it, it's going to impart a different kind of flavor in the beginning. I want to taste that raw creamery butter at the end.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to use it to help tighten up the sauce and finish the sauce. Like I might even take that piece of butter, and I don't know if I did it last time. I roll it in a little bit of flour, and then I pop it into it.
Yes.
And what that does is that helps thicken the sauce a little bit. That's a beurre meunier. So that's like an easy way to help thicken a pan sauce. So I'll do that and just let that finish up and almost over very light heat, just enough to kind of melt the butter and work it in. And you can whip it in
Right.
if you want to. The French would just take the butter raw and whip it in, and they'll thicken the
Right.
sauce up. But that's kind of a cheating technique, but I like using it. And we had a question: do I recommend shell on or deshell shrimp? I like to buy my shrimp with the shells on. Okay, less chance of freezer burn when they're, because all shrimp are frozen. You're going to be hard pressed to find live raw shrimp. In Georgia and Florida, some places you can find them. The people are coming in with the shrimp right off the boats. But anytime mass-produced shrimp, most Gulf shrimp, they have the freezing capabilities right on the ships. Everything's taken care of. They're block frozen, or they're individually frozen right on the ships. So if the shells are off, though, all that flesh is exposed to more ice crystals. The shell is going to help protect it. So it's got less chance of damage and the shrimp getting soft or mushy or anything like that. So I always buy them shell on.
Sounds
Nice.
good.
Good question, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much from Chris. Appreciate that. It's one of the more appropriate questions he's asked. So and we have a fun time here with the chat. So it is what it is. So did you cook tonight, Chef Dennis, or did you prepare something ahead of time? What are you going to show us?
I have some pictures to share with you.
Yes.
I can do that. Let me pop one
that.
up here. We'll talk about it a little
I
bit.
have the link for everybody. Oh. He'll be
Yeah.
back. Maybe. Oh, there we
Can
go.
you see it?
Yes, now the screen share works. Oh no.
So what happened?
Someone has started sharing your video, disappear, but your audio is still being broadcast. Okay.
All right, now I don't
Apparently
see
people
you
can still
guys
hear me.
now.
How did we do that?
I am broadcasting my audio, and I don't know.
I'm flying solo. What
no.
happened?
It's pretty funny. No, you're not. We're both here.
I'm here. I just can't.
I saw your chef. I saw one of your pictures for half a second. So now I'm broadcasting, and someone
Okay.
else is broadcasting audio.
Okay.
All right.
I see the screen. I see the
Okay.
screen share. We're
You see
good.
the screen share? Okay, that's a steak scampi. Can everybody still hear me?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so that is a steak scampi. Now, I think I have a porterhouse under there from the looks of it. And I like, and then I've got the jumbo shrimp, and you can see pieces of artichoke, pieces of shrimp in there. And I've actually got some crab meat in there too, because it is a shrimp and crab meat scampi.
Ooh, excellent.
And I melted a little cheese over top of it.
That actually looks a lot better than what I made. A whole lot better.
Okay. All right.
And when I went onto your website, I found the one link for your shrimp scampi raviolis.
Yes.
And I wanted to share that with the group because that looked phenomenal. Not quite as good as steak, but there's a reality sometimes.
Yeah.
If I can find where to share that link, I promise. There we go. Let's see. So Stub, then what?
Yes.
What would you pay? You know what? There's an added component to the last picture Chef Dennis shared. He threw in steak. So would that change the pairing for you?
A little steak, it might. I'm gonna base on the sauce, and I'm guessing the steak was a lighter component compared to the shrimp. If I'm not wrong there, I would probably still stick with the pairing depending on the sauce. But if you're going with the classic kind of white wine butter, maybe a little touch of heavy cream in there, as I like to throw in my scampi sauce, kind of traditional with the lemon, I would still stick with an Albarino as I'm drinking now, or a Burgundian style Chardonnay. I know, kind of pedestrian, but I always first go to Albarino.
Oh, that doesn't sound pedestrian at all. I love Albarino, and I would love the acid, and I think it would hold up to both of those
Yeah,
components.
exactly. And it's from Galicia, so some seafood components there as well. So I think it pairs well. I don't know. The slight bit of steak, I'd have to see. Now, if you change the sauce to Chef Dennis, and I wanted to ask you about this, you talked about doing like a tomato-based sauce for scampi. I'm guessing that most of us don't. Most of us don't think of a tomato-based sauce when we think of shrimp scampi.
Well, I'm not talking about a whole tomato base. I'm talking about adding a little tomato into it. Like when I do my scampis, I will put a little bit of marinara into it as well, or some plum tomato, some cherry tomatoes. The little ones, grape tomatoes, kind of a thing. So uh, I do like to add a little bit of that in from time to time. But again, it all depends on what flavor I'm looking for.
Okay.
What I have on hand again, and what my wife might have mentioned. She wanted something salty. I'll throw some capers in.
Okay.
Sometimes I put olives in. I'll chop up some green olives, and I'll do olives, capers, and in a light lemon, not a lot of lemon, but just a little bit. So again, it's a matter of just making it how your taste buds want to enjoy it. So you can do a lot with it, and like Jen said, the shrimp scampi ravioli, that's a nice way to kick up the ravioli a little bit, and you don't need as many shrimp. So you can cut back because the ravioli are a little heavier. So you can do something like that. And then the other one had crab meat in it because it was like just a really decadent dish. This was a plate we would serve at the restaurant that would just blow people away, because it had that steak under it, it had the shrimp, it had the crab meat, and they would just love it.
Yeah.
We actually have a question from Giselle. Thank you very much. I'm from the South, so curious if Chef has a spin on shrimp and grits that includes his scampi sauce.
I have not made shrimp and grits yet. It's something I need to remedy. I love shrimp and grits, but I haven't made them. So, I would think I'll have to get back to you on that one. We'll have to do that at another show.
I saw a ton of recipes because I went looking everywhere because I wanted to find a unique dish to bring to the table today. And I found a ton of them that added more of like not a Cajun flair to it, but shrimp is so receptive to a Cajun flavor to it. So I couldn't imagine it not being great, but saw tons of recipes that had a lot of heat to it. So I'm sure it would be an easy fix.
Oh, sure. I mean, then you could start. I mean, then we're getting away from scampi as classical, but that's the whole thing about recipes too. All right, maybe it's not exactly a scampi anymore, but it's still going to be delicious. You might put some andouille in it. You want to talk about going a little Cajun? Well, let's throw a little andouille or even a little chorizo or some kind of sausage in there. Something to kick it up a little. And maybe you want to go the way of the Holy Trinity with some peppers, onions, and celery in it too. You want to make that kind of almost like the Creole kind of sauce to it. So it can go in all kinds of directions. And again, mirepoix, the Cajun mirepoix. So you can do all kinds of things with it. Throw some okra in. And I'll throw okra in some dishes, and people go, "Well, that doesn't go in there." Well, I like okra, so I'm going to put it in. So
Yeah.
Again.
So there was another question, and I think that we can talk a little bit about the chef's background. Can you give us like a quick snippet on your background?
Yep. I started my training early in life in Louisiana with Mama Jeanette Francesca de Beauregardus, and she taught me how to listen to food. And it was quite an experience. Just met her accidentally. It was one of those meetings. There's a whole big story behind it, but learned the basics from her and how to listen to food and how to know what food wanted to be added to it. And people kind of look at me funny when I say that, but it will really tell you what it wants if you listen hard enough. Um, and then I went my merry way in a bunch of other different professions: a musician, a poet, a carpenter, sold real estate, and then I found my way back into a kitchen and started my training with two master chefs as an apprentice, worked through an apprenticeship, and then took over the restaurant where I was the apprentice at, ran that, ran another one, a bigger place that we opened up, and had two carpal tunnel surgeries on my hand, decided to go into management. And management, the food was so bad at a couple places I was at, I ended up back in the kitchen cooking. And every time I tried to go into management, I ended up back in the kitchen fixing the food. And that's pretty much what brought me here today. A series of injuries. My hands had two carpal tunnels, so I can't have a third one. And I had to get out of the business, and now I just cook for fun.
There you go.
Nice.
Sounds great.
But you also now, chef, do consulting and the like as well.
Yes.
Still, yeah. So you're still in the game. You're just not in the kitchen every night.
Yeah, no, I have
Right.
my blog. I do post there, and I do consulting for not just food but social media as well.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I keep my hand in it. I will never fully. Well, maybe one time when I burn something down, then I'll have to stop. But for now, I'm still operating on most of the cylinders, and still enjoying what I do. So as long as I still enjoy what I do, and I love feeding other people, that's my great joy. And I think most good chefs will tell you the same thing. When it's just for me, I'm not one of those, like you see these movies where the chef's home and he's making his own meal and he's creating this massive dish with all these different herbs and ingredients. Now, I'll have a cheese sandwich if I'm alone. That's what I had today. So for lunch, my wife's out, so I had a cheese sandwich. That's my go-to, or an egg sandwich. So
I eat PB&J sometimes. It
yeah,
happens.
but I mean, I like to.
Yeah.
But when I cook for other people, that's when I pull out all the stops.
Well, thank you for sharing your background, and I do
problem.
thank you from the audience asking questions. Really love the engagement. But one of the things that we haven't gotten to is what did you cook tonight, Stub?
Well, I cooked. Am I still echoing? Jen, you're echoing a bit, and it says a guest is broadcasting their audio. Does it say I'm broadcasting your audio above the screen?
All right.
Yeah.
Close that and let's see if that takes care of echo problems. Now you disappeared though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna refresh. Maybe that'll help.
I'm scared to refresh.
All right, I'm on the screen by myself as I'm seeing here. So I'm just going to answer the question, and when people get back in, we'll be good. So I cooked tonight. I didn't. I went downstairs to the hotel bar and had myself a burger before the show because I traveled all day driving down to do my TV appearance tomorrow.
Burgers are good. I love
So
burgers.
yeah. They call this a French onion burger. This thing is pretty good here.
Ooh.
Kind of digging it.
I had
Yeah.
a burger in Minnesota that was probably the best burger I've had. It was a
Nice.
fondue burger. And
What?
yeah, and when I heard
Ooh.
fondue burger, I was like, oh, I don't know. But oh my God, it had so much cheese on it and bacon, and
Nice.
it was a free range beef. It was a local free range beef. It was just wonderful.
Yeah. My burger tonight was the French onion, and I enjoyed that with a resin IPA from 6 Point Brewing. And before coming upstairs and opening my Albarino to take notes on that before we started the show. So
And I did not have a Juicy Lucy. They tried to pass something off in a miniature size, but there was no cheese in the middle. So I have to go back for an authentic Juicy Lucy. And if you don't know, a Juicy Lucy is stuffed with cheese, a burger stuffed with
Yes.
cheese.
yes.
Bastards, I know that's what I said.
Let's hope so.
I
Can
know,
you not
right?
hear me, Jen?
I can hear you, but I cut your audio. It's still
Sorry.
But this is what it is for live. Like you have some benefits, you have some negatives, but as long as you can, it's. I don't know. Maybe on your screen you can hit that stop audio.
I can't. I hit stop audio when it said you're broadcasting yours. Someone else is still broadcasting audio though.
I guess is Brostic. How about you, Chef Dennis?
I
Maybe
refreshed. I can do it again.
is there a thing that says stop broadcasting audio?
No,
Okay.
all I have is stop streaming.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah, we
So
lost
many people
Stubbs.
disappear. This is actually the disappearing live stream. It's happening all over the place.
Very
All
good.
right. I'm
You're not
back.
echoing to me.
Am I still echoey?
No, but we've
No.
all played musical chairs now.
Yes.
I was in the
Is
head
everybody in?
seat. Don't encourage it.
Please take your seats.
Do not encourage it.
I'm lucky. That's the only reason. Normally, I would be echoing too. Thank you, though. And he asked what my favorite wine was. I'm not a wine connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination.
Connoisseur, that's appropriate.
Connoisseur. But I love me some Prosecco. I love Prosecco, and you will have to fight me for the bottle. I mean, any other times, like I'll have a glass. I enjoy it. It's fine. But Prosecco, just put a nipple on that bottle and pass it over.
Nice.
Awesome.
Chef, I agree with you. I actually have 2 bottles of Prosecco chilling for my appearance tomorrow. We're going to do a very, very easy sangria, and then I have 2 cocktails made with Prosecco that I'm going to do on the show.
Oh.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes.
Now, can we see that show anywhere but in Virginia or West Virginia?
Well, I think if
On
you
the
get the
internets.
WSLS app, you can watch that live because it's a local show that they do. But yes, I will post the links shortly after the show's over tomorrow. They usually have those up by 2 p.m. Eastern. They're pretty good about getting those segments up on their website after. So I will post that after the fact and let everyone see it. So,
Actually, someone brought us a bottle of New Jersey wine. It's a blueberry wine.
Okay.
So I was going to make a sangria with that. I have some fresh peaches and blueberries. And
is it a full or half bottle of blueberry?
It's a full bottle.
Full bottle? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all right. I asked that because I've fruit wines before, and sometimes with the blueberry, they do a completely
the
not add
500
water, so it's really like it's a no joke dessert wine. They go completely. They basically process the blueberries as you would grapes, add no water whatsoever, and it comes out. If it's done right, it comes out so beautiful, and it's just this deep, rich flavor, and it's mostly sold as a dessert wine.
And
this
blueberry wine is not blue wine, by the way. I would just like to point that out.
No, it's still very purple.
It's yes. But you may enjoy adding some Prosecco to that blueberry wine.
I have a guest here tonight who brought me a bottle of Prosecco, so I was thinking
nice.
That would make, and if you could, because speaking from the true alcohol lover in me, add a little brandy to that if you really want to get spicy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, someone else left a bottle of vanilla vodka. I was thinking about adding a little. No.
No. Vanilla vodka.
Yes, Ross, I am on Instagram also as Cork Envy. Thank you.
All right.
So what wine do I enjoy best with rich flavors of shrimp scampi? And you're probably going to hate me, but I don't usually drink wine with food. I drink it after.
We're going to kick them off right now.
I drink it before and after, and I drink sparkling water when I eat. Strange as it may seem. I know, blasphemer. I do enjoy wine, but it's rare unless someone is there pairing it for me and handing me the glass. It's not on my list of things to do or things that I'm good at. So I don't.
Got you.
Well, as long as you drink around the event, that's good.
Oh yeah. There's always some drinking going on, so that's not a problem.
Good. So
and back when you were actually leading kitchens, though, chef, you probably had wine director or some in the restaurants. Yeah. You gave them the recipe, and they kind of knew from those. Like, I can talk to you fairly intelligently about cooking, but you know way more about it than I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking advanced pedestrian questions of cooking techniques from you. But if you give me a general idea, because I'm a wine guy, I kind of say, all right, we're gonna try these wines with this. Yeah. So it sounds to me like you kind of approach cooking that same way. You're like, I know these go together, but this is not my focus.
Right. And I don't. I've never really. I know that's such an art that I have not. It's not something I've ever really wanted to learn about because I know it requires a lot of time, and I'm always so busy with everything else. It's like one more thing. I can't do it justice, so I don't want to do it. I can be a dabbler All I know is, I heard if you're not going to drink, don't open a bottle of wine if you don't have the intentions of drinking the bottle of wine. Don't save it.
Yeah.
That I
Oh,
know.
that's actually a
It's
perfect
good
segue
advice.
into what I did for my dish. Thank you very much. So I had two, not one, but two bottles of white wine left over in my fridge. And they weren't full bottles. They were about half and one was like a quarter. And not like leftover by a day or 5 days, but like a week left over.
Ooh.
So what I did is I took this Newmarket Plains Chardonnay 2014 Chardonnay. There we go. So that's a Virginia wine, and then the Nobilis. That is, it's a little old. I'm not gonna lie, and I added it to the stock of my pasta,
Hmm.
as well as some water and some chicken stock, and I cooked my pasta in it, and it actually came out super. It absorbed really well, which surprised
Ooh.
me, and then it came out a little citrusy, and I was really happy with just
Hmm.
the way the noodles tasted.
Yeah.
Like I was so surprised by that. I really didn't think it would have a big influence on it.
You, no, Noodles are like a blank canvas, and
Right.
that's why I always say to put your salt in the water before you cook them, because they're so bland. I
Yeah.
mean, they're really that's why they go so well with so many dishes. But you can actually cook them in by flavoring your water and add a little bit of different flavor to it. Not a lot of people realize that. And it's a good way to use up. Never throw wine out, but I mean, there's
Right.
always something you can do with it.
And
Even if
this goes with Stubbs' opinion, and I agree that wine doesn't really go bad. I mean, it's not that it's not enjoyable per se, but
Mhm.
it was perfectly good to
it's
use.
fine for cooking.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really brought some significant flavor to my noodles. And I
Nice.
actually
Hmm.
have, I don't know if I'm so scared.
Ooh,
Look at that.
very
Oh,
nice,
I know. So I cheated and
beautiful.
I kind of chopped up my shrimps, but
That's
I
okay.
added zucchini. I
Ooh.
chopped it up, and because I
Hmm.
felt bad after using as much butter as I did.
There
And I also added mushrooms. I just had random leftover mushrooms,
you
and
go.
then leftover wine, some linguine noodles, lots
Very
of
nice.
garlic, because enough garlic is never enough garlic, and butter. That was it.
Great.
Salt, pepper, and I used oregano instead of
Nice.
parsley.
Okay.
Ross, thanks for joining us. Appreciate
Yes.
that.
Good to see
All
you,
right.
Ross.
I'm sorry,
Thanks.
Jen. Didn't mean to interrupt you
No,
there.
no, no. It's fine. It's good to see people come and go.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was so proud of myself. I even plated for you guys. Look at that.
Nice.
Bam.
Nice.
So again, that's a perfect example of using what you have in the house to make dinner, and
Right.
it doesn't have to be the same every time. Once you get that basic idea of how to put things together, and you just start using different ingredients. Like, I mean, I have some pepperoni in the refrigerator that I would have cut up and thrown a little pepperoni in with it too, and
Ooh.
it
Ooh,
and
that
it
would be a
and
good
it
idea.
and it gives a really a little nice flavor. There's some different meats, some prosciutto or some other like jabon that you could
Nice.
put a little in, and it would just change the whole aspect of the dish. And so you don't know what to be afraid. One thing I do keep is I first thing we stayed here. I went to our local grocery store. We have Acme's here, and they had potted basil plants. So I bought a basil plant for the
Yeah.
porch, so I can just go pick, because that's my my
Right.
main herb. I use parsley for color and decorating, but
Mhm.
fresh basil goes into a lot of things just because I love it.
Nice.
Well,
What is? I don't even know what that means. Bell
I
pepper, cloves, for oh, Chris is
Oh, that's
telling
what you
us.
have.
Chris is telling us that's what he has in the house right now. Collins mixer. Well, I think Chris, I think you par bake that pie crust. You add the bell pepper, cloves in there, and the Collins mixer. Do you have an egg, or can you borrow an egg from a neighbor?
a
If
couple eggs.
so, you throw a couple eggs in there with the bell pepper and cloves. A little touch of the Collins mixer.
There you go.
Put that in the par baked pie crust, and you've got yourself a
Quiche.
little quiche.
Yeah.
There you go. Don't you need a little milk too? I don't know.
Well, see,
Bam.
I might have taken that pie crust out of the frozen pie crust and rolled it out and used it to make something else stuffed with too. So you can always think about that. Just because it's in the
Also
pie,
true.
in the pie shell doesn't mean it has to stay in the pie shell. So
I mean, the Collins mixer really threw me though, Chef.
I know. Well, I'm thinking that it just depends. If we had some cream or something, we could have
Right.
made a something frozen and put in the pie
Right.
crust.
Yeah.
Candied the
Nice.
bell peppers. I don't know.
Probably some baking soda in the house too, right? I mean, there's always that.
I'm not a fan
Salt,
of cloves.
baking soda.
Yeah.
Cloves and bell pepper.
Well, my
Nice.
word would be to move. That would be my suggestion.
Yep. That's a good point.
Find a house that had some food. So,
Well, I think we're getting close to the top
Awesome.
of the hour, and I think it's time to close out the broadcast portion
Awesome.
of this. But
Indeed.
for the follow-on weeks, if anybody else wants to come and join us on huzzah.io, we also do an after show where we will answer some more questions that we've seen pop up and chat a little bit more. And I will finish
I'll bet.
the little bit of wine that I have left. Just a little bit of wine that I have left.
a little bit.
So thank you again, Chef Dennis. Really appreciate you coming on
Indeed.
Pleasure.
from your hotel room, from vacation. It's so great of you. And Stubb, thank you for coming on from the hotel
course.
room down in Blue Ridge.
I'm always here.
Yeah,
I'm always here.
absolutely. So we do Wine Antics Live every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you guys next week. Cheers.